Welcome everyone to the well overdue post-Wrestlemania edition of Dads on Wrestling here on the, I guess it's the Jeff Meacham YouTube channel. I don't know what else to call it, so we're just going to go with that because I'm not feeling creative right now.
There we go.
Now,
just keep in mind, originally Jeff was supposed to do a show with Aaron and the No DQ crew, but I guess for whatever reason Aaron didn't come over to his house for the pay-per-view, so no post-show was done. We were never originally going to do one, but when they didn't hook up to do it, me and Jeff were like, okay, you know what? The streak ended and Bryan fucking Danielson's the world fucking champion. We need to talk about this.
Alright, well, let's get right to it then. Alright, we started on the pre-show.
There was a pre-show?
There was a pre-show. It was a 2-hour pre-show.
I know, I saw it all.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trayvon, by the way, in the middle of the hood, allowing me and Mikey, the whitest people on the block, to come there. We got off the bus.
Okay.
Mikey's like, where are the game banners at? I'm like, shut up! You're gonna get a shot!
What the hell's wrong with you? Oh my god.
Getting stat boy.
Yeah.
But big shout out to Trayvon for letting me and Mikey come over.
Yeah, you told me where you went. I thought dropping Willie off in the hood was bad. Oh no. Oh no. You were like more hood than the form and shit.
But it was fun.
As long as you had fun. I spent WrestleMania Sunday huddled around my computer because my dad was like, can't we hook the thing up to the TV to watch on the big TV? I don't know how to do that, Dad.
Yeah, he had a flat screen TV with a PS4 that had the network.
There you
so that
go.
was our little hookup.
Okay, so PS4 does carry the network? Okay, because my girlfriend's roommate was talking about PS3. I'm like, I don't think PS3 does it. But I think PS4 does. So, okay, anyway, at the end of the pre-show, or close to the end of the pre-show,
we finally got a match.
We finally got well, okay, to be fair, the first hour was on all social media outlets, and they were just hyping the Mania. But
the revolving door of third guests.
Right, exactly. Everybody that's been in the roster. I mean, that was a shit ton of people. But once we got to the WWE Network exclusive pre-show, the Usos retained the titles over the Matadors, the Real Americans, who broke up finally, and Ryback.
Yeah, it was no surprise that the Usos went over. We both predicted that.
Yes.
And you even were talking a bit about the tensions between the Real Americans on the prediction show.
Yeah, and had I known where that was going to go, I'd have made a different pick for the other match.
You know? And then I know a lot of y'all saw when I channel bombed Jeff's channel and gave that elaborate storyline. It looked like we were going to get part one there, you know, because the first part was them breaking up. And they broke up. Claudio was on his own finally. Step one was complete.
Didn't work out that way, though.
Hey, but you know what? Time will tell.
That's right.
Time will tell. It may not have all happened at Mania.
No.
But time will tell. Because Phase 1 and Phase 2 all happened.
This is true.
Phase 1, the Real Americans broke up. Part 2 was Bryan Triple H starting the show, just like Brett did at WrestleMania 10, and then went on to the end of the night to win the belt.
Yep. Which is the next match we're talking about anyway. Yeah. You know what?
And just like on the predictions, we'll just tie the two together because it all goes.
As much as I thought it would happen, I was just surprised it happened. I thought they were going to have them go right into the main event after that match, and they did. They actually put it at the top of the card. It was good.
Yeah, I had read a run sheet that had leaked out that had
always have the Mania.
That match going straight into the triple threat. But I guess either they thought better of it, or maybe the powers that be saw my channel bomb, since we know that they watch us sometimes.
They do, it's true.
And they decided to split the two matches up.
Yep. I am glad, obviously, and you know what? I will save the title match for the semi-main event of our show.
Okay.
I do want to talk about the streak last. We talked about that. But I am glad that Bryan won, and, you know, he won clean, which was good. And there was shenanigans after. Triple H almost cost him the match, but you know what? It worked out. And I'm also very glad that we were wrong, or at least I was wrong, about the Shield imploding.
Yes.
Because they are hotter than ever. I don't know if you saw TV at all this week. Okay. They were on main event. They faced the Wyatts, and they finally beat the Wyatts in six-man tag team action.
Okay.
Renee goes into the ring. to interview these guys. And Dean's got a rib injury or something he's selling, or he was really hurt because he worked SmackDown, he was fine. And then they talked to Seth, and then Mr. Charmer himself, Roman, gets on the microphone and talks about, the authority called us faceless. And he looked right at Renee and goes, do I look faceless to you, baby? And Renee got this ridiculous look on her face, like, hee.
So did Liaki make Renee's pants go leaky?
Yeah, pretty much. Because you can see Renee was uncomfortable. It was good. You know what? I love Renee.
Kind of like when Lillian used to get talked to about the people's strudel back in the day.
Exactly. So it's all in the family.
That's right.
It's all in the family, But I gotta say, Renee looked good all weekend. She looked good all week. But in the social media room, lounge, whatever it's called, for Sunday, she looked fucking bomb. I even tweeted that shit.
I saw.
I was like, Renee's looking good, and need to have her on the shows more often, man. I'm just saying. So the Shield won. The Battle Royal.
No surprise there.
No surprise, because
And from here is where I started to go downhill, pretty much.
Oh, did you? Okay.
With the exception of the main event, I don't think I got any of the matches in between the Shield and the main event right.
Wow. Now, had I been able to get a tweet out and not have internet keep failing on me on my phone, because we had the computer blown up on the full screen for Mania, so I couldn't use Twitter on the computer. Had I had the phone and seen Cesaro quick enough, I would have changed my prediction, because I had a feeling when he was in there, I was like, Cesaro's going to win the Battle Royal. And sure as shit he did. And I'm so happy for Claudio. My God.
I am too. I mean, we sat here on the prediction show and we talked about how Big Show had to win this match.
Oh, you did.
And he didn't, but he was the last man in.
And he's the one that got Claudio over so big, because you see that pose that they took a screenshot of him slamming the Big Show, how eerily similar it was to Hogan Andre. Like, right there. It was a moment in time that needed to happen, and it pushed Claudio. And then Monday he joins up with Heyman. My God, he's on the rocket ship now.
Yeah. And he's apparently turned Heyman babyface because of his association with him.
Between Heyman being with Claudio and then Heyman and Brock cut that ridiculous promo on Monday talking about the streak and how the fans were cheering him, it's like, y'all were hating them both the other night. What the hell's wrong with you people? But you know what? That's how good Paul Heyman is. You don't want to like the Jew bastard, but you just can't help yourself. I speak a racial slur, but you know what? You don't want to hate the Jew bastard, but you can't help yourself.
It's what is called a moment of clarity.
It is.
Once the initial shock wore off, and I'll say it again later, but once the initial shock wore off, people were eerily okay with it.
Yeah. I know there's people that still aren't. Talked to a few people, not in this house, but I've talked to a few people that are still legit upset at the end of the streak. My dad, I sat there, okay, I'm sitting on the couch, facing the computer. My dad's right here. We're in the Frank Legion pose.
Of course.
And I turned to look, did that shit just happen? And I was like, you remember what you said? You're not going to watch again if the streak ends. He's like, yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Fuck it, whatever. So my dad's full of shit. That's okay, it's all good. Anyway, we'll get to the streak again.
Yeah.
Okay. Cena over Bray Wyatt. Bullshit finish of the night.
But did I not say it on the prediction?
You did. I gave you
I wanted Bray Wyatt to win so bad, but they weren't going to job Cena out again. He lost at 27. He lost at 28. He got his comeuppance over The Rock. They weren't going to turn around and job him out again so quick. I had a feeling.
But what was good about it is that we were wrong about Cena winning. In fact, of the impact.
Yeah.
Because how much did Bray get into his skull and into his brain before he beat him? And how fucked within the head he was Monday night because the Wyatts beat him and Biggie and Sheamus. Help me out, folks. And Cena was not part of the decision. They just throttled all three of them. But Big E took the fall, and Cena was on the floor with his hand in his lap going, Cena's mind is fucked with, which means losing is not necessarily the worst thing for Bray because immoral victory at the end of the day. He's in Cena's head now. So it's not the horrible thing that we thought was going to happen that would be the end of the Wyatt. It's just the beginning. It's been paid for. I forgot to turn this down. I apologize. There we go. Okay. Streak. We'll get to that. AJ.
Just going back to the whole Wyatt thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You want to know how over the Wyatts are? You needed to be nowhere else but Trayvon's house.
Okay.
Trayvon came out to host the event, if you will, in white pants,
Oh, Lord.
a black sleeveless shirt, and a Hawaiian French shirt.
Oh, my God.
One of the girls that was there that I met, Jessica, her profile picture is her dressed up like as a Wyatt.
Wow.
Everybody in that house wanted the Wyatts except for one token girl who was wearing a Cena shirt.
Okay.
That's how over the Wyatts are.
There you go. Now. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. AJ.
AJ. Considering what happened on Monday, right decision.
I disagree.
And why do you say that?
I disagree because at the end of the day, this page has had like no build up on it. Just come out of nowhere. And there's been way too much time invested in Tamina potentially turning on AJ,
Or
Natalya getting her thing, or the Bellas. You know, I half thought that maybe they put the strap onto Brie so that Brian and Brie could be champions going into their wedding today.
That would have been cute, yeah. Oh, by the way, yes, we're filming this on Friday, so happy wedding to the Danielsons.
You know, kind of thought maybe they'd go that route.
Okay.
So for AJ to retain against all odds and then drop it immediately to Paige, I call bullshit. Now granted, I don't have the network. I haven't been able to see Paige work on NXT. I hear she's good, so I'm not going to take that away from her. I just think there should have been a little bit more build.
But think about the impact of a debuting superstar winning the title. How often does that happen? It happens. They had a whole playlist up on .com this week.
Yeah, it's happened enough.
It's happened enough where it's a big deal. So to put the title
It's
on
happened
Paige,
enough to where sometimes it doesn't really matter.
sometimes. But I think if they do it right with Paige and they have her drop the NXT title immediately to Charlotte or to Emma or whoever, then they can build with this because they can have Paige on the main roster and have fewer and fewer Barbie dolls competing for the championship. We got rid of the big Barbie doll. We got rid of Kelly. You know, there's very few of them left now, if any. So if they do it right, they can do it right. We'll see. And then our moment in the sun.
That's right.
Our boy Brian.
Where I did exactly like I said I was going to do. I had it queued up on my phone. I played Europe's The Final Countdown, just like he used on the Indies. I didn't get the whole, like, machine build-up. I just started with the first doo-doo-doo, and it played all the way up through the chorus, through the first verse, you know. And it was the final countdown for him. I mean, if he didn't get his victory here, the past 8 months were useless.
And we've been saying that since SummerSlam.
And he got his moment in the sun, just like he deserved. And, yeah.
And then
There was the
streak.
Now, before we get too in-depth in the streak, I do have to say, going back to the Divas, I felt really bad for them.
I did too.
Most of the people at WrestleMania, the 70,000, however many there were, weren't there to see the Divas anyway. They weren't going to be a huge featured match to begin with, but to try to go out there after the streak ended,
Yeah.
it was quite possibly the worst thing they could have done.
Yeah.
They almost should have just scrapped the Divas match altogether, put it onto Raw, maybe made it a 15 Diva and brought Paige out for that, you know, surprise.
Right.
Let her win it there, and just gone straight into the main event.
Because how often have the Divas been in that second to last spot and been shit on? But then they follow the end of the streak. The people were silent.
Yeah.
They didn't know what the fuck. Seriously, you had 75,000 people with their hands up their ass going, "What the fuck did I just see? Oh, there's some titties. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Bring on Brian. I don't care." They didn't care. And it was I felt so bad for the girls. I did.
It was the only time I've really felt bad for the Divas.
Well,
aside from, you know, if an injury takes place in a match.
Well, I felt bad in 2002 because you had Hogan Rock, and Triple H just come back against the world champion. And our girls, Trish and Lita and Jazz in the main event, in the 7-main event, it's like, wow, nobody gives a fuck, and these three are awesome. And those three were legit awesome.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for that one.
Not as bad as I felt for this one.
Not for this one, no, because you can't follow. There's no following unless you go from the streak ending to Bryan winning. There's no following.
No,
there's no following.
Absolutely not.
And they
Absolutely
had to.
not.
And they had to. And it was bad. Now, there's been no. I've been very quiet all week about this,
and I've pretty much kept the same stance that I've had since Sunday. Go ahead and.
I was bugged. And after knowing what you told me earlier today before we filmed, and I'll let you spill that.
Yeah.
Knowing all that, I don't know if I feel worse or better about it, because it's like, if that few people knew, I guess it's a good idea to keep everybody in the dark, but...
Let me just get to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I go into depth on that, I want... Forget about the fact of all the internet stories that have come out since Mania. Did anybody else out there in internet land watching think that it looked like the finish was botched? And I'm going to go into depth as to why it looked that way in a minute, but... Somebody comment, please, and let me know that I'm not the only person that thought that the finish was botched. Now, that being said, my original thought was, and I even talked to Mikey about this on the bus ride home because it was a long ride.
Yeah, coming from the hood, you know.
Did Undertaker call an audible?
Right.
If you watch the match, and especially if you compare it to the last 5 years worth of matches, Shawn Michaels 1, Shawn Michaels 2, Triple H 2, End of an Era Hell in a Cell, and CM Punk. This match, and I'm going to go ahead and give Beth permission, who's sitting behind me now, to sock me if she wants. This match was god-awful.
Amen.
Yeah. This was very much Brock Cena Extreme Rules.
Only worse.
This match was god-awful.
Shit-tastic.
My original thought was, did Mark Calloway, in the middle of the match, realize how horrible this match was, and just have that moment of clarity and say to himself, I can't do it anymore, and potentially change the finish mid-match?
Because it's always been said, he has control over the destiny of the streak.
Then why didn't he lose it to Orton? Why didn't he lose it to Punk? There's been numerous rumors that he wanted to put both of those guys over for the streak and wasn't allowed to. Which would lead to him needing to change the finish mid-match because he just realizes that he can't do it.
But then you read what you read.
Yeah. I'm saying, that was my initial reaction.
Right.
Then I start to read reports about how this has been planned all along. That Brock Lesnar was the chosen one as far back as 2010 for Mark. And yes, I'm going to keep calling him by his real name right now because as far as we know, that was it for him. So he is now mortal. He has lost the streak. He is now Mark Calloway.
Okay. Careful what you say.
I know. Trust me, I've had conversations in depth and at length with the woman behind me about this.
Suck to land.
So, he was supposedly the chosen one as far back as 2010. Mm-hmm. I've also read reports this past week that whomever it was in the ring this year was going to be the one to do it. Mm-hmm. If it had been Brock last year and Punk this year, it would have been Punk. If it had been Cena like we had heard about rumblings, it would have been Cena.
Okay.
And then I read the report that came up a couple days ago from the Wrestling Observer and Dave Meltzer, that said that the only people that knew about this were Undertaker Triple H, Vince McMahon, and anybody higher than Vince. If there is anybody higher than Vince.
Which would seem to include Stephanie at this point in their
and
lives.
maybe Linda.
And
Maybe it was just family knowledge.
Right.
That's why Brock looked so shocked. He didn't know he was going to win. That's why Heyman's so shocked. His reaction was 100% legitimate. They wanted legitimate reaction. That's why it looked like a botched finish, because even the goddamn referee had no fucking clue.
Yeah, because he looked like he was going to wave it off.
He totally did. Yeah. That's what I was waiting for. And then the announcement was made
Just
over
Robert
PA.
Yeah,
and then the graphic came up 21-1.
Yeah.
And I think when that graphic came up is when everybody realized, holy fuck, this just happened.
Yeah, and you could hear just Robert's voice making an announcement. He did not want to say that. He did not want to make an announcement. Because he'd forever be the guy that made the announcement. Everybody would be like, fuck you too, Justin. I like Justin. He's a nice kid, but I'm just saying.
It's better than Josh Matthews.
Harry's better than Josh Matthews.
Even Michael Cole.
Even Michael Cole. Even Michael Cole.
So,
even Taz.
That is all the news that I have regarding the streak. And I said it in the prediction show that got thrown out. When you talked about if you're going to bet on the streak, do you bet against The Undertaker?
No.
And I said that if you're betting on the streak, that means that it's got to be a legit fight, because Vegas only allows legitimate contests. They don't allow betting on wrestling. Wrestling's scripted. So it's got to be a legit fight. And if it's a legit fight, you've got to back Brock Lesnar. NCAA heavyweight champion, former UFC champion. Undertaker's 50-something years old. And he's showing his age now, too. Unlike the last few years where he kind of still looked like he had a little bit of youth in him.
And I see the hand, but we're down to like the last 2 minutes that we have on tape. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I know.
Can you say what you need to say quickly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This Pinky, by the way, I'm over it.
As long as you're over it, that's it.
I cried. I did my crying. I did my mourning. I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes,
Mr. Man's all right. I'm still smacking, but he's all right. I love you, Taker.
All right. Yes, definitely.
And just for confirmation, Taker has not hit 50 yet. He's 49.
Correct.
Close enough.
Close
He's
enough.
49. He's showing it. I love you, boo-boo. I love you always. I'm still
49
smacking
pushing 64.
That's right. Social
So anyway.
Security.
Security.
So
All right.
that is our thoughts on WrestleMania. What did you guys think? We apologize that it's so late getting up, but like I said, we weren't originally going to do one. He was going to do one with the No DQ crew. This is the Jeff Meacham channel. I wasn't going to channel bomb him again. I only did that because I had this brilliant idea came, and I needed to get it out of my head.
That's right.
Just in case it happened, I wanted to be able to say,
live from Cervello's.
I had the idea first.
Yeah, that's right.
That was me.
Thank you for watching this edition of Dad's on Wrestling. I'm the Renegade.
I'm Jeff Meacham. We'll see you guys next time.